on the app that I had built, that we had a bunch of different cities, and I just randomly picked it, to be honest with you. We could choose any cities that we want. And as a matter of fact, I want you guys to choose some cities that you guys like. Make it your own. Okay, so I have all these cities, right? On the left, I click New York, we get the weather for New York, and we also get an image for New York. Same thing is true for Miami and San Francisco. So guys, so in order to get this data, right, to prove that this could work, all I did was I Googled the latitude and longitude of a couple cities. And then I put it inside of what? How did I structure this data? An array, yep, of objects, yep. And each one of these objects had a name and a latitude and a longitude. I just Googled it, okay? Because I wanted to make it look okay for demonstration purposes. So that I don't have to Google in front of you guys, I'm just gonna copy and paste this over to our app that we built. So let me go ahead and start this one as well. We're gonna run npm start. Okay, we jump back over to our browser, and we can see that we have our app, and we got the data correctly. Okay. So what was I talking about earlier? How could we create buttons using this array? We could just map over it, right? We can just stick it in in the body of our return. We can say cities.map city. Okay, and then we return a button, and then we say what? City dot name. So that's simple. Let's just see city dot name first, okay? So we refresh, we hop over here, we see a bunch of buttons. Dope. Okay. What's the next step? What do we normally want to do with buttons? Yeah, we want to pay attention to when a user clicks them, right? And for the purpose of this app, what's the only thing that we're doing? Are we helping people find dates for Friday night? Yeah, we're just getting the weather. And what did we do just a few moments ago? And we called a function when the component mounted that called a function that we defined get weather. Okay? This function, tell me about the signature. What is so special about this function?
Latitude, longitude.
It takes
two arguments.
These two arguments are? Exactly. Okay? So we can pass in the value to the on click. And what are we going to call in here? But where is get weather? Okay. Are we done? Okay, so what's the first one I pass in? City dot longitude?
Latitude first.
Yeah, it's latitude first, okay? We need to look at our function's signature. So now the second argument is city.latitude. The second argument is city.longitude. We save, we refresh. Now if I click this, I would bet it works. Oh, city, Miami. Okay? San Francisco. Right here. And where's this coming from? Is this coming from the array? The H1, where's this coming from? It's coming from state, right? This value inside of this H1 right here is coming from our state on line 83 right here, right? It is not, in fact, coming from this name right here. I'm gonna prove it to you. I'm gonna delete it, 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 save it, refresh. Fuck, motherfucker. Okay, we're just gonna put a button in here, okay? We just hard code something. Click me. Okay, I click it, I guarantee you I see a city pop up. I click it, I guarantee you I see a city pop up. Where did this name come from? It came from the response to our API request. Okay, we made an API request. What did we pass that API? A latitude, a longitude, an API key. That thing did some magic for us, and then it gave us back an object. We parsed that object. Right? We grabbed a bunch of keys off of it and we stuck it in our state. Very simple. Okay? So now let's go ahead and undo this because I want my names here. I want to see the names of these latitudes and longitudes. Okay? So what we talked about yesterday was, what the hell is this up here, this import syntax? Gwen, this is especially for you, okay? What is the difference between React here, React, and component? Why are one of these inside a curly brace? That's interesting. So the answer is this. It's called the import-export syntax of JavaScript, okay? This is new in ES6, and I'm gonna show you how it works. Okay, so typically, just so that you know, all your components will be in one file, and one file will only ever have one component. Like, for this class, you're gonna see me break that rule a lot, right? But I want you to know that in a production application, every single component has every single file has one component only. And the name of the component corresponds to the name of the file, okay? So I'm gonna do that in just a moment, but right now, I'm gonna do it simpler. Okay, we're gonna do much simpler. Inside of our source, we typically have 2 folders at least. One of them is gonna be called components. Another one is gonna be called utilities. Utils for short. And you guys notice right here, the icon for these folders, it's special, right? It's a special icon. If I put in another one and say, blah, 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 it's just a regular folder. What does that tell you? That tells me that these are commonly used folders, okay? Your code editor expects some folders that are called components and one that's called utilities. It does not expect a folder called this, okay? That's why it has a special icon, I'm telling you right now. So just delete this one that's useless. And what is it going to go inside of utilities right here? We can do cities.js. And what's going to go inside of here? We can just put in our cities. Okay. So we paste this right here. We have a file called cities.js. What is inside of here? It's just one array. And you guys will notice that our code editor is complaining and saying, hey, cities is not being used. Cities is assigned a value but never used. So our code editor is explaining to us and saying, hey man, you defined this, but you're not using it anywhere. We gotta do something with this, okay? So these cities, where are we going to use them? App.js, really close. Good try. Okay, this is where we're using it. We're using the cities variable inside of app.js. So how can we get it? Well, we're gonna import it. Exactly. No, but I was going to show them an error. Okay? Sometimes I'm going to show you guys errors on purpose, okay? I'm going to show you an error on purpose, okay? So how can I import this right here from cities.js? How can I get this? Well, I can do cities, and then what do? From. So I got to now on the inside this thing right here, this quote. Sorry, I couldn't think for a second. We need to show it the relative path, okay? So if you guys do // your code editor is going to help you. It's going to give you a list of things that are relative to here. So where am I going right now? What am I looking for? Yes. Okay, what inside of here am I looking for? Yes. I spelled this wrong, I think. I'm pretty sure I spelled this wrong. Okay, so it can be cities.js or it can be cities. I don't know how to spell this. Cities. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. Okay, I save it. If I save this now and I run it, the app is going to complain. Okay, why is it complaining? Because we did not export it, correct. Okay, so notice how right here that there is no curly braces around this. Okay, notice that. We can make both these work easily. Okay, so I'm going to first, let's just make it work on line 3, okay? So the line 3 is what we called a default import, Line 4 is what we called a structured import, okay? You guys have learned about destructuring, kinda, okay? So this is called actually, to be honest with you, it's very similar, but it's not exactly the same thing, okay? But just know that on line 3, what it's saying is that inside of utils/cities, it's expecting to find a default export. So now we got to do export default cities. Am I doing this? Cities. Okay, cities, save. I refresh. We no longer see this error message.
So it has to go to the bottom?
It does not have to go to the bottom. Look what you did here on the app. Now you understand part of what this line means. It's saying, hey, this app component, I need to make it available somewhere else. Just like here, the cities array, I need to make it available somewhere else. So if I wanted to delete this, what else could I do? Can I do that? I don't think I can do that. I'm sorry, but there's another way you can do this, okay? I'm going to show you just a second, okay? So imagine right now, right? So this works. Does everyone agree? This works, right? So imagine we had a different function that was also a utility function that just got data for us. And we wanted to call this function elsewhere. Let's pretend we have another function. How can we define a function, guys? Does this work? This is a function that I want that's going to get data for us. Okay? So we just used the keyword function. We gave it a name. We gave it some arguments, right? So I can just copy all this over here, right? I'll paste it right there, right? So now the question becomes, how can I get both of these into my app.js? I want two things here. Well, actually, my bad. Okay. So now we have, how many exports do we have from cities.js?
Just one.
Exactly. So we want two exported. How can we export two?
Default.
We delete the default right here. And then we need to do one more step. We need to export it this way. Okay? This is called a structured export. Okay? So the inverse of this, right? Because this is no longer a default export. Oh my bad, I should show you one more thing, okay? Let me show you one more thing, okay? With default exports, no matter what it is you're exporting, oh my bad, I gotta make this succinct to you. Okay, it works. All right, so no matter what it is you're exporting, if it's a default export, you can call it whatever you want in here. So I'll call it that, and I'll paste this right here, save, and it still works. Okay? Right? But now we're gonna do the inverse. Okay, imagine you had two different things that you wanted to export. Okay, so we call it cities, and we'll call this some get weather. So the exact opposite of this is we need to do a non-default export here. Okay, and I just realized now I remember how to do this correctly. Okay, so now notice how a second ago I could change the name. You guys remember that? So now if I do it this way, will it work the same? It will not work the same. Okay? So now I cannot change this to whatever name I want. I have to name it exactly the same. If I change this to cities. Okay, I did this twice. Cities. Did I spell this wrong? Okay, it did work. Okay. Sometimes the code editor is not as fast as our brains. Damn, our brains are faster than a computer. Holy fuck. Damn, that's fucking powerful to think about. Okay, so we save it, we refresh, nothing's broken, okay? So these are two different types of exports, two different types of imports. So now imagine that we wanted something like line 1, where we can have a default export as well as a structured export. How could we make that work?
I have a question.
Yes.
On line 4, how come it doesn't need you to define cd.js?
Because that's the shorthand, okay? Just know that like it will automatically add that for you in JavaScript, okay? If you named it correctly, it will automatically add the .js, okay? So what if we wanted it to look just like line 1, okay? Where we have a default export and we have a default the structured import. Well, we can just leave it like this. We can leave it just like this, okay? Get weather. We save it, we refresh, everything is A-OK. Okay? Let's see if this works. Does it work? Why doesn't this work? Because we didn't actually call it. Okay? And actually this is gonna break now. This function is going to break now because we don't have state in here. Okay, but I was trying to show you the main point here is I'm trying to show you guys that there are many different ways to import, many different ways to export. You guys need to know how to do this later on in the future, okay? And I'm going to do this, we're going to review this one more time when you guys complete this. I want to see someone's weather app look beautiful, and I'm going to help you refactor it. We're going to refactor this together, okay? We don't have that many components in here right now. That's why I can't show you a better example of how to do this, okay? But tomorrow we're going to do the IMDb clone, and there are going to be many legitimate examples, okay? So come on, guys, ask me some questions, please. Okay, why does this work right here, guys? What's cities? What is cities? Tell me about what is cities right here. No, cities right here on line 5 in app.js is the default export of a file called cities right there. And remember, if it's the default export, I can call this whatever I want and it will still work. So watch. Save it. No error, right? But if we grab this from our cities, from a structured export, what's gonna happen? You save it.
By default export.
So now it's broken because of the state right here. Say again, what would you say?
What do you mean by default export? Like the part?
This is the default export, line 62, where it says export default, that's a default export. That means that we don't need to use these curly braces right here. Almost always, you're going to see the default export be the exact same name of the file. Okay, that's almost always how it works, okay? So there we go. That's the default export. We don't see an error, right?
I'm getting confused because the file's name is cities.
Okay.
And then you have an array named cities, and then you have a function named weather.
Uh-huh.
And on 63, you have to specify both of them. Like 62, it seems like you're exporting the whole file.
No, I'm exporting one array right here. This array right here.
All right, so that matches that. Okay.
Yeah. So that you can.
Usually you name it the same because you usually only have one thing in there in the file.
Exactly. Typically, you only have one thing in there. There's obviously a couple edge cases. For example, utilities. You're always going to have a couple functions that you need to call everywhere. For example, formatting money, formatting weather, formatting time, shit like that. You're going to have a couple special ones. Yes?
What's the different purpose of component folder and utility folder?
So utilities folders are going to have things that aren't components. Is this a component? This is not a component. This is just some hard-coded data, right? What is this right here? This is a component, right? So components go inside our components folder. Functions and like hard-coded data and a couple other things that you guys don't know about yet will go inside of utilities, okay? One more special thing I can tell you, okay? So where is this file? What's this file called? So there is a shorthand, a syntax trick where inside of any folder, if you import that folder and you do not specify a file that you want to import from, it will automatically look for a file called index, right? So what does that mean? So let's pretend I decide index, cities to index right here, right? Does the import on line 5 still work? Oh, my bad, fuck it, it fixed this for you. It fixed it my code editor already did it for me. I installed a plugin. Watch this. Watch this. Fuck, it didn't do it. Oh, it did it right there. See how it automatically fixed it for me? Right? So the main thing to think about right here is inside of any folder inside of an ES6 project, if we import from just the folder, then we do not have to specify the name of the file if the file is index. If it is named index, you do not need to specify the name of the file. You do not have to do index.js. You can drop JS, and because that file is named index, you can just link to it on the folder. Okay? So we save it, we refresh it, it still works. And obviously this function right here is a little bit broken because we don't have state in here. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna move this back. I'll come up with a better example for you guys later. Okay, say this here. So let's just make this function say hello world, okay? Hello world, say name, and then just say console.log. Come on, man. Hello name, okay? So we define a function inside of our index. We exported it by default, so we can import it right here on line 5. So now in our component amount, we're just gonna fire this bad boy, okay? We say class, okay? Hello world, and I assume it's going to work here. And did this work? Did our function that we exported from index work? Nice. Okay, so now you guys have a better understanding of what these imports and exports mean, what they mean, right? So we're gonna save it. If you guys click it, if you guys hold Command or Control, you guys can click it and you guys can read the source code right here. This is the source code that of how we all the code for React. Okay, and this is TypeScript. This is not a whole other language. This is also JavaScript, but it's just much more advanced. And what are these guys? It's a big ass object. It's got a bunch of keys in it. Okay, this is the source code. If you want to work at Facebook and help them build React, you gotta know how to read this. But in order to know how to read this, you guys gotta know how to read what we keep telling you guys to read, okay? Because this shit is way more complicated. I've been doing this for a while. I can't read this and understand what it means exactly. Okay? So that being said, what did we do? Quick review. We just learned how to import and export from different files using, what's the first one again? Default import and export, okay? Default imports and exports. So we can change this here, it works. And we imported this twice, so now it's just complaining. So then you can't do the same thing twice. We save, refresh, still works. Any questions, guys? Any more questions? Okay, who here wants to know how to install Bootstrap? I think that's one thing we kind of... Okay, we're gonna try to do Bootstrap real quick, okay? So for React Bootstrap, there's a specific library that is the most popular. There's a couple different people that have tried to do this, right? So they all kind of work the same. Go to react-bootstrap.github.com and just go to get started, right? And then you're gonna have some instructions right here, okay? You just gotta run this command. So we just stop our... We gotta stop our... Every single time we install a new package, we need to stop our server. Stop our server, okay? Now, as a matter of fact, I'm sorry this lecture is going long, but I need to show you two more things, okay? Two more critical things. So I run npm install, and then what's the guy right here? What's this, guys? I want you guys to copy this thing right here, okay? The style sheets, okay? Copy these style sheets, and then this is the one time you're gonna touch another the index.html here, okay? This is just like getting some free code off the internet. We just paste it right here. Save. So I ran npm install. I copied over this link tag. This is going to get the libraries that we need from the internet. Okay. Say again? I think it's just this one. This is a minified version. I guess we can get these two. Fuck it, whatever. Let's do it. I like where this is going. Okay, get this one. Save it. Come on, baby. Is this working? All right, so let's go ahead and look at this documentation real quick. So we're downloading the file. We're looking at the documentation. Guys, when you guys are working with anything, any library on the internet, you need to be looking at the documentation. There's no other way to do it, okay? So now we ran Bootstrap. Look. Oh yeah, three things total, okay? When we install a package, right, in a React project, there's a special file. It's called package.json, okay? This is one of the most important files in this project. This project will say many different things about your project, okay? Let's say the name, what's the name of the project, which version. The version here is going to be important later. You guys don't need to worry about it right now, okay? But this one's probably the most important one that you guys do need to know about right now. Dependencies. It's saying, hey, these are all the files that I'm using, all the different libraries I'm using, right? So our project is a what project? It's a React project. We depend on React. We cannot use this without React. Also, we just imported Bootstrap, okay? So let's just test to make sure this works. So you guys know me. What do I like doing, guys? Copy-driven development, okay? That's what I like doing. It's my favorite type of development. I'm gonna just copy this, I'm gonna just paste everything in, okay? Just make sure this works. Save it. I already got complaints. What's he complaining about? Exactly, something is not imported. So we need to look at an example of how to import this, okay? We'll go back to our getting started, and we can see it right here, right there, right? So we're just gonna copy this one. We're gonna import it from the top. Which ones are we still missing, guys? We're missing container, column, row. So we're missing container, column, row. Okay? We save it. I see these complaints go away. Let's go back to our editor, and then we'll just start up our server again. Start up our server. And in just a moment, wrong one. That just... Okay, that works. Okay, and... Did that work? I don't know. Why do I not see numbers here? Why is this working, guys? Why is this not working? Save. There's no children. Why? I don't even see a console log. Interesting. I'm a bit confused, guys. Why the fuck isn't this working? Okay, let me try this again. Okay, path to working directory. We're working on this app. Okay, npm start. Okay, I'm really a little bit confused. So let's just do a style, background color, red, height 100, width 100. Interesting. You gotta have that, Jason. I don't see anything right now. What the fuck is going on? I'm gonna delete some of this. Okay, I trusted someone. Who did I trust? Trusted Phil. That's the problem. Okay, so I don't know what that was. I knew I shouldn't have done that. Trusted Phil. God damn it. Okay, so I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I just know that I wasn't supposed to do that step yet. That's for other packages, okay? So now, here we go. We got our containers, okay? That's how we got Bootstrap. Very simple, okay? And these things are obviously a lot more complicated. What are things about components that we need to know, guys? What are certain things about components? Hey, Ray. What is special about components, guys? Yes, we can pass our components properties, okay? Fuck, did I close everything? God damn it. React, Bootstrap, okay?
Supposed to make it a row and everything?
I know, but the thing is, I don't know. I think I did something wrong. Now I'm a little bit thrown off. Container. Okay, so I forgot what the properties are, to be honest with you. So let's just go ahead and look at the documentation. The container, API container. Let's go ahead and look at them. Okay, you guys need to do practice. Okay, you just gotta practice. So we can say large, for example. We want this to be large. And I can't really see how big it is. So let's do style. We say background. Background color is pink. And you say width is 1000 and height is 500. Okay, we save it, refresh, there we go. Okay, trust me, you guys need to look at the classes and the properties. You guys study documentation. You guys will get to understand how to use these better, okay? So now what did we just learn, guys? We learned how to do a default export, what the difference between a default export and a structured export are. We also learned what the difference between a default import and a structured import are, okay? Cities right here is default. Hello world is destructured right here, okay? That's the difference. And note, and also one thing to note is that every file can only have one default export. And the reason why we do that is because we want to be able to rename this. Remember, we can name this whatever we want. Okay, we name it whatever we want. And I deleted that part so that I can't show you anymore. Okay, so we figured out how to do default import, export. We figured out how to import Bootstrap. And we also figured out how to call an API based on an array of data, right? We called a function. This function was passed as a value to a property, and that property was a callback on click to a button. Okay, guys, you guys remember? Do we want me to show this one more time? How am I going to list out all the buttons, guys? Cities. Why do I keep spelling this wrong? City, okay? And then we return a button, and this button is going to have an on click, and this on click is going to have a function, and it's going to be this.getWeather, and then we're going to pass it the city.latitude. And the second argument is going to be city.longitude, okay? And then we're going to say city.name, right here, city.name. Come on, city.name. Okay, we save it. I see a bunch of buttons. I click it. Fuck, I forgot. God damn it. Okay, so up here, okay, we do this.state.weather.name. Okay, we save it, we refresh it, we click it. Where are we at right now? Where did Ho Chi Minh City come from, guys? Is it Black Magic?
No, we need to find it.
No. When our app loads, we look at the location of the current user, and then we call get weather with the current location, the current latitude and longitude. Okay, I guarantee you, I get on a plane, I fly to Hawaii, I open this app, I will not see Ho Chi Minh City as my app is currently written. I promise you, there's no other way. Because the latitude and the longitude will change based on the user's position. Thus, Ho Chi Minh City did not come from, it came from our actual latitude and longitude. Okay, we didn't write code for this. Okay, so now you guys can see like the basic outline. Okay, so that's it. I've been talking for 30 minutes. We're trying to have shorter lectures.